Hello and welcome to the Dutchin channel. It's Wednesday, 24th of April 2024. We're approaching 5 to 8 in the morning and we're going to run through today's selections at Catterick, starting with the 212. Doesn't seem to be any non-runners at the moment. And that's our selections in the order I think they're going to finish. So what we're going to do first of all, we'll go into Matchbook, open up the page there as well that we want for the 212. And our top selection here, don't forget, even though it's our top selection, we're not going to be back in one. So we've got a chance of a few runners, hopefully. And Murby at the moment is currently 10. So stakes on this of £10 will return us 100. Then our second selection is Object, and Object that is showing at 7.2. Stakes of £13.89 would return us £100. This is the Dutchin system if you're into that. And our third selection is Lancashire Life, and Lancashire Life that's trading at 32, so £3.13 would return us £100. And our fourth selection is Tommy Two Hoots. That is currently 7.2. So let's work out what we've laid out before we go into that. Yep, that's fine. So Tommy Two Hoots currently at 7.2, £13.89 would return us £100. And that's going to leave us now £9.10. And the next selection we're going down to next is Grandad Bob. And Grandad Bob, that's showing at 10.5. So I think we say we had enough to put on this. We've got £9.10 left, so not far short. And they're going to be our selections for the Catterick 212. We've got 4 running for us: Murby, Object, Lancashire Life, and Tommy Two Hoots. And Grandad Bob will be the lesser amount. Coming into race 2, this is not going to be a betting race for us, but the reason I do it is so you can see what I've got as top rated, and if you fancy doing anything, then you're more than welcome. So we'll do the prices what I've got, but I will only be working out the ones that have run before. So Moral Standards, that's currently 4.1, and Obligatory is the favourite at 3.85. Now the only way you would get me betting in a race like this is if Tough at the Top was a big enough price. Because what I would do, I would back Tough at the Top at 18 for £5.66, £5.56, and then I would put the rest up to £50 on the other two. But I don't really want to be going down that road. So it would be a no betting race for me. But these two, if you thought one of those two would definitely come in, it would cost you roughly £50 there for 100 return. So you'd be on even money for both. But this is why I do the results show every night, so you can see what's happened during the day. And there were so many unraced horses that won yesterday, so you would end up going skint over it. I haven't got time to put a plan together to show you all those races where the unraced ones come through and win, but it's a high percentage. It would not be worth doing long term. Then we're going on to the 317 at Catterick. This is a betting race for us, and Willow LaRupi is going to be our number 1 selection. So we'll go into the 317, and this is showing at 9.6. So stakes of £10.42 would return us £100. And our second selection is Labu. It is 12.5, and stakes of £8 would return us £100. And our third selection is Vince Lamour, and this is quite short. This is 11 to 10 or 2.1. So what we would be doing here is £18 for the first two, or £18.42, and then it would be 31.58 going on to our third selection. Alright, so that would be our bet there for £50. We'd have two running for us. That's Willow La Puri or La Rupee. Willow La Rupee and Labu. One of those two would return £100, and Vince Lamour would be the lesser amount. Moving into the 347. Now this one I've given here, I gave this to finish second. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but it got pulled out. So that was Hiccups. So let's have a look. And the price of Hiccups at the moment is 9.8. So stakes of £10.20 would return £100. And Natchez Trace, that's our second in. That's currently showing at 11. So stakes of £9.09 would return £100. And Vampire Slayer is the, well, it's not favourite, it's up there somewhere, right down the bottom. I think it's upside down near enough this table. But Vampire Slayer, this is also at 9.8. So stakes of £10.20 would return £100. And then we got the Dancing Poet. And the Dancing Poet, that is 7. Stakes of £14.29 would return £100. And we've got £6.22 left to stake. And our next selection is Corsican Caper, and that's 5.2. We're not going to get £19 on it, but we are going to put on it the £6.22 that we had left. And the stakes there would be £50. We have four running for us: Hiccup, Natchez Trace, Vampire Slayer, and the Dancing Poet. And the one with a lesser return would be Corsican Caper. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to show you in this race actually. There's a horse called Stellar Masterpiece, which you can see there is 9.6. Now I forgot about this. If you look back here, it doesn't have any form because it's been running in Poland. So this is going to make this a very dodgy race to bet in. I did forget about that. So even though I've done the form and everything else, I most probably wouldn't be betting in this race. Not because the horse is currently 9.6, but it could be 100 to 1. But again, if it was 100 to 1, maybe I'd have £1 on it to do the other 5. Right, but at this stage it isn't. And yeah, that will be, the more I talk myself out of that one, yeah, that will be a no betting race. But we will go through these again in just a moment. Then here we've got 6 going to post in the 417 at Catterick. So let's have a look into this race. And our top selection there is Tiger Bay. Tiger Bay currently trading at 5.6. Stakes of £17.86 would return us £100. And Origin Trail 5.9. That would require stakes of £16.95 to return £100. And our third selection is Little Muddy, and Little Muddy is 6.2. So let's just put that down in third place. Let's see if I've got enough money to put onto that. We've only got £15.19 left. Not much less, but that will be our third bet. And stakes of £50 there. So Tiger Bay and Origin Trail would return £100, one of those two, and Little Muddy would be the lesser amount. Then into the sixth race. At least this is more of a competitive handicap. Although I'm not saying they're not competitive, but more runners and stuff. And our top selection here is Mr. Strutter. And Mr. Strutter, that's currently trading at 23. Stakes of £4.35 would return us £100. Code Purple, that's showing at 14. Stakes of £7.14 would return us £100. And we've got Red Mirage, which is the favourite, at 3.55. And stakes of £28.17 would return £100. And that leaves us now £10.34 left at stake. Mutant Arsec is our next one, and this is currently trading at 8, but we didn't have that much money left to put on. We've got £10.34, so that will be our last bet there, and that will be our £50 stakes. Mr. Strutter, Code Purple and Red Mirage, one of those three would return £100, and Mutant Arsec would be the lesser amount. Then into the last race at Catterick. This is the 5.25. And our top selection is Jesmond Dawn. And Jesmond Dawn at the moment is showing at 4.3. Stakes of £23.26 would return us £100. And our second selection is Curious Mrs. Fox, that's 26. Stakes of £3.85 would return you £100. And our third selection, Queen of Africa, this is showing at 24. £4.17 would return £100. And Cleonia is our fourth selection at 9. And £11.11 would be your stakes there to return £100. And let's see how much we've got left in the kitty. £7.62. And Havana Prince, this is currently 9.2. 9.2, so the £7.62 at 9.2 would be our last bet in that race with £50 stake. And Jesmond Dawn, Curious Mrs. Fox, Queen of Africa and Cleonia, one of those four would return £100, and Havana Prince would be the lesser amount. So let's go back to race 1. First of all, I'm going to open up the calculator. So there's not going to be too many bets at Catterick, but in the first race, you can see that we've staked £50 there. And our top 4 selections will return us £100. That is Merby, Object, Lancashire Life, and Tommy Two Hoots. One of those 4 will return £100. And Grandad Bob, we've got a price of 10.5 times £9.10 would return. Well, we ain't going to return us that. Jesus, I'm having a nightmare here. Let's start that again. 10.5 5 would be the SP, times 9.1 or £9.10, and that would return us £95.55. So one of those 5 would give us a nice return. Into that second race, this is going to be a no bet. I'll just put that on the bottom. Alright, so that would be a no bet in that race. Moving into race 3, we've gone for Willow, LaRupi and Laboo. One of those 2 would return us £100. And Vince Lamour, 2.1 times £31.58 would return us £66.31 if this one would win. But don't forget, this is 11 to 10, and we're lucky to be getting our money back. But we do have 2 running for us as well on top, so that's okay there. Into the 4th race, as I say to you, this one I'm going to make a no bet race because of this horse that's only been running in Poland. It doesn't have any ratings whatsoever wherever it's run, and they have it in the betting under 10 to 1, so it's not worth laying out £50 and that wins and kicking yourself. And then into the 5th race, which is the 417, we've got Tiger Bay and Origin Trail. One of those 2 would return us £100. And our 3rd selection, Little Muddy, we've got 6.2 there, times £15 and 19 pence. And this would return us £94.17, so that would be a good 3rd selection. And we'd have half the field there, but we don't have the favourite. Then moving into the 450 at Catterick, we've got Mr. Strutter, Code Purple and Red Mirage. One of those 3 will return us £100. Mutanarsek, this is trading at 8, times that by £10.34, would return us £82.72. So those 4 there in the 450. And in the final race, which is the 525, we've got Jesmond Dawn, Curious Mrs. Fox, Queen of Africa and Cleonia. One of those 4 will return us £100. And we also have Havana Prince. This is 9.2 times £7.62 stake, and this would return us £70.10. So if we can get a few winners there, that will do us. As long as we're 1 in front when you're doing Dutching, because you're hopefully trying to get the same money back on every race at evens. So even if you can get 3 winners and 2 losers, you make that elusive £50, which we know it's not a day's money, but if you're not doing it to win a day's money, then £50 at the end is better than losing, and we know how easy it is to lose. So that's the Catterick selections for later today. Send us a message, let us know what you're backing in advance. But we'll do the results show again this evening, and then we'll see where we are and how we got on today. Thanks for watching.